Kenneth, I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Do it now.
Do it.
Alright, so based on my experience of what martial arts work, most effective, or what works?
What's the difference between most effective and most
Right. What works is
It's an extra.
no, it's not actually legit. So what works is more of a what is good for you to defend yourself against other people, just in case. Right. What works? In a real scenario, would this save your life? What works? Now, most effective is more of a can I use this against trained professionals and beat them? Most effective.
Okay. Based on your definitions.
Yes, sir.
Because these are his definitions here, which fair enough. Please share what you found to be the most, what you found work most, and what you found to be the most effective martial arts.
The most effective martial arts.
This is a random way to start the podcast, by the way, but go ahead.
You're gonna get this work.
Yeah, they are.
Boxing,
I'm so glad you started with boxing.
wrestling, Muay Thai, Kudo Karate, Kyokushin Karate. Yeah, Kyokushin.
Just got a flashback of sparring a Kyokushin guy.
Most effective, Jiu-Jitsu. So boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, Kudo Karate, Kyokushin Karate, Sambo, Jiu-Jitsu.
As in all work.
Yes, in that order actually.
I thought you were doing it in order.
Most effective. I say that because
So wait a second. Was that most effective or what work? Because you did works. You
no,
said-
most effective.
That's most effective.
Most effective.
Okay.
Yeah. And in that order as well. Because now, to break it down for you, you can take anybody who has never done anything before,
Yeah.
you teach them boxing and wrestling in 6 months. They can use that
Yeah.
against most people on earth.
Facts.
6 months.
Facts.
Here's why. Whether it's a counter striking or a defensive technique, boxing and wrestling are actually based on offensive. Boxing and wrestling are based on moving forward, being first,
Dominating.
dominate the space. Boxing and wrestling are based on go, go, go. Because even in defense, you are defending forward. And here's the reality: the best defense is a blinding offense. I'm saying this because I've seen capoeira dancers, capoeira fighters, dancers.
Capoeira dancers.
They are dancers, it's dancing. Right? I've seen capoeira dancers.
Man.
I've seen taekwondo cars. I've seen people of different martial arts that are not punch based do their demonstration. Mwah, lovely. It's good on camera, right?
It's aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, Lord, you know what I'm saying? But now, when ish gets real, when ish hits the fan, what's the first thing they do? They box.
I've seen that with so many martial arts.
You see my point?
Yeah.
They're doing the and then say, you what? Boom. Oh, go back to your keep it 100. Go back to your swinging for the fences. What does the first thing they do? They go to boxing. And then what happens next? This is automatic, by the way.
I've seen the same thing.
And then what happens next?
Especially
They
sparring.
attempt a takedown. The moment they know, oh, you can punch too, what do they want to do? Grab your leg and take you down. Boxing, wrestling. Because something in your unconscious knows they're the most effective.
Solid.
See. After that's Muay Thai. Muay Thai is demonic in the clinches. when you come for the hug, the clinch is demonic in the clinches. You don't know what an elbow feels like until an elbow kisses you in the nose. You're like, oh, that's what that feels like. You don't want that again. You'd rather get a heavy punch than get an elbow to your face. It rocks your brain. And then when the knees come in, boom. So, again, boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai. Muay Thai has got strong kicks. Then comes Kyokushin. Kudo Karate is basically boxing, karate, wrestling.
Oh, there's a grappling aspect to it as well.
It is. And now comes your Kyokushin Karate. The variety of kicks in Kyokushin Karate. Muay Thai has hard kicks.
Yeah, there's a few like
But Muay Thai has like
power.
this amount of kicks with power.
Yeah.
Kyokushin has this variation of kicks with power. It's called the strongest karate for a reason. Dude, it hits different. It hits different. So these things are effective. They're effective against other martial artists. They're effective against other fighting styles. They work against other people who know how to fight. That's my point. So, effective? Yes. Very effective. Super effective. Martial arts that work. Okay. They work. Yes, someone is drunk, no problem. Krav Maga works. Krav Maga works if the person you're fighting against is clueless about spacing, setup, timing, flinch mechanism. It works wonders. Krav Maga, Aikido, Taekwondo. They work wonders if the person you are going against doesn't know about spacing, doesn't know about keeping the hands up, about eyebrows. You understand? They don't know about closing the gap. It works.
Against civilians.
Yes. Alright. So, let's start this. That was a good segue, by the way. Kevlar Kess, your personal trainer's personal trainer, your favorite coach's favorite coach, your favorite fighter's favorite fighter, him. Dr. Love.
I love it.
I can't say the loving Dr. Love. Hey, Charlie, it's too much now.
It's cool, man. I'm good. I'll come up with an intro.
I was like, yeah, I need some of that.
It's dope.
I know.
You need some shit like that. People remember that.
Your favorite fighter's favorite fighter.
That's dope.
It's mad. I remember, I think I had a fight once, MMA fight once, and after the fight, no, I lied. Sorry. I watched the guy fight. I went to a fight show. I was cornering someone, and one of the guys that fought there did a very good fight, great fight, and he came to me in the back, and I'm like, dude, man, you had a good fight, great takedown, great everything, and he said, it's because of you, Kes. I watched you fight on TV, and you inspired me to start training MMA. I'm like, oh, yeah. So
that's amazing. Were you teaching back then?
Yes,
You were.
I've been doing this for, jeez, man. I've been teaching for almost 2 decades now. It is what it is. It's always good. It's always good. So, anyway, today's topic is...
Topic or topics?
Okay, so today's topics, my bad, are... Please, sir?
One was a suggestion from one of our wonderful viewers. And it was... Speak about weak fathers.
Oh, dude.
And if we got time, I'd also like to go into a little bit around isolation versus connection or community?
Oh, dude. Weak fathers. That's hard, you know.
Is it?
Yes, sir. It's definitely hard. Definitely hard. I say this because I was having a similar conversation with someone earlier, about a couple hours ago. Similar conversation. Yes, sir. Apparently, I'm a life coach. You know. Apparently so. And it was the case of the schools. Today's schools. The schools today are quite different because today's teachers have been taught to teach children like all the same under the same umbrella. Now here's a reality. You cannot teach girls the same way you teach boys. You cannot teach boys the same way you teach girls. Boys and girls learn differently. It's very important. So the crux with the way schools are raising boys is that their fallback plan is the fathers at home. Daddy at home will be the one that goes, okay, son, I hear that, no problem. But this is how we do things here. I see what you said, no problem. But this is how things work here. It's very important as fathers to have that. So, growing up, you're going to have 3 fathers. Biological father, your favorite male teacher in school, and your drill sergeant, or the person who coaches and teaches you after you've left school. Those 3 men have a massive importance to you, so they're the major ones. But other than those 3 men, you have other men in your community, your society, who also act as role models for you. Now, what happens is, many of us don't realize it, but we don't understand those 3, right? Especially now that we're all grown, so we don't know that we have now become one of those 3. That's the thing. We don't realize it. We have now become one of those 3. Bear in mind, of those 3, it's an umbrella. So there's the biological father, and in that father case, there's the man that you grew up with growing up, which is maybe stepfather, it may be your mom's boyfriend, but so that's the father umbrella, right?
I get it.
And then there's your favorite teacher in school. Under the umbrella, you're still gonna have other male teachers who are role models, right?
Sure. Could be an uncle, could be a friend of the
family. There you go.
Right,
and then there's your drill sergeant after school. Under the umbrella, it's also gonna be your martial arts coach, your football coach, your something coach, your mentors. So it's not 3, it's 3 umbrellas.
I like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
so it's 3 umbrellas of those. So we don't seem to realize that we actually fall in one of those 3 categories. You could be so lucky to be in more than one of those categories. I tend to be very lucky, blessed, and highly favored to be in all 3. You see my point? All 3 umbrellas, I'm in all 3. And that's my point. If you are in one of 3, you have to recognize and realize where you are. Because boys of all ages, men as well, look up to you. They look up to you because whether you know it or not, you inspire them. Women too look up to you because whether you know it or not, you inspire them. And just being you and doing you, being 1% better every day, you are an inspiration. You may not know it, but you are. They look at the way you dress. They look at the way you move. the way you stand, the way you sit. They listen to the way you talk. And what do? They copy your mannerisms. And that now becomes them. It's very important. So whether they do on a positive or a negative, they copy and paste. If you're one of those 3 umbrellas, someone's copying you. If you're 2, someone's copying you. If you're 3, everyone's copying you. So you recognize who you are every damn day. Mad, isn't it? So now here's where it comes to the weak fathers, quote unquote. They don't realize they are in one of 3. Because they don't know how the umbrellas work. When you are a father, quote unquote, you have a child, you have children. Those children are constantly looking at you as their example to the world. They're looking at you as because they have questions. They have no idea how the world works, but they look at you and go, you are supposed to show me how the world works. You are supposed to be the example of how to take on the world. It's unconscious, it's a natural thing. So the father is supposed to be the person that the son wants to be like. The father is supposed to be the person that the daughter wants to marry. Which is what? Be the best version of you. If you were in if you had an opportunity to see your multiversal constituents, you go to a multiverse of Davids, different versions. You want to be the best version of them all. That you want to be the David that other Davids go, you know what? I want to be that David.
Into the multiverse.
There you go. So you want David to inspire to be like you. How do you do that? Be the best you can possibly be. Simple as that. So the quote unquote weak father situation is they don't know their role. They don't know the role. They don't realize their situation they're in. I see it in a lot of men. Because people go, oh, the reason why these kids are blah 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 blah, or this person is blah blah, is because of an absent father. That's not the case all the time. Yes, sometimes, not all the time. There have been cases of where the dads have been present the whole time, but the father has not been an influence to the child or the children. Yeah. So to be a better person, not just a father, just a better person, you need to strive to do better. It's as simple as that. If you want to learn how to swim, just swim. That's it. Do better, be better, 1% better every day. Whatever you are doing, inspire for more. Drive for more. Push yourself for more. Don't be content and be comfortable with what you have. Good, thank God, I'm glad where I am, but I can do better. You do that, what happens? It's quite simple. How you do one thing is how you do most things. Now we're going somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. So when you see quote unquote weak fathers, what's the commonality you see about them? There's no drive to do better. There's no drive to be better. The son sees that. The daughter sees that. And that's not inspiring. So what do? They go to the external world out there to look for who else can inspire them. Who else can push them? Who else do they admire to be like or to be with? They look at that. They look for that. That's crazy, isn't it? So this young man today, he was talking about his son in school and everything else, and asking all the boys, who's your role model? Who do you inspire to be? Because again, we are coming from generations where people look up to TV stars, athletes, footballers
Yes.
as role models and inspirations, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So,
I think about this a lot.
And that's a bad thing.
It is.
It's a very bad thing, because you are saying the people around me don't inspire me.
Yeah.
No man,
Yeah.
no woman around me is doing better. That's what you're saying. So now this man was talking to me, and I asked him a question. So, your son's role model, who did he say it was? You know what he said to me? He doesn't know. He's not sure. And I said, that's a great thing. Here's why. Because if your son looks at you and does not know who his role model is, that's because you are his role model. That made him think for like 10 minutes. Because he started seeing all the signs. Again, I don't make you think like me. I just want you to think. That's it. He started seeing, oh wow, yes, your son hasn't gone on the internet to look for a Drake or whoever else to be a role model. No, because you, sir, are his number one role model. Blew his mind. That's all he needed to hear to go, oh wow. And realize everything he does, his actions, his constant growth, his son is doing that because his son sees him doing it. And I go, yes, you are the role model. That's a good thing. If my child goes, oh, Beyonce, we suck my, I'm throwing hands. You what? You understand? That's a reality. Make it sense, sir?
It doth. It doth make sense.
It doth.
I appreciate how you expanded it into the 3 different areas, because I realized that things aren't always the ideal situation. And so, for example, for me, I'm one of those people who's had to seek out mentors and people I can learn from. And I do that now for other people too. And in some cases, it's because that person hasn't been there for them. You know?
Yes.
And that's quite a privilege. And it's a big responsibility too, actually. I realize more and more to be that person for someone. The person that asked me that raised it, based on the messages he was sending to me, it was partly because he was communicating with a woman who's got a weak father, and I think it was creating challenges because this kid's very strong. Like his energy is very strong, very masculine, very direct, and I think oftentimes women are thrown off by it. Based on what he's telling me, they're a little bit like, ooh, what's happening here? Because they haven't experienced that. They haven't experienced it in their homes. They haven't experienced men who know what they want, very direct, very confident, very clear. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I do that a lot.
You have those experiences. I have those experiences.
I do that a lot.
Situations
I go, if I ask you a question, it's a straight question.
It doesn't mean...
Give me a straight answer. I'm not a politician, I'm a warrior. I shoot straight. Please don't play this game with me. I'm asking nice now. If I say to you, what is this, why is that? Give me an answer. Don't give me this. If this doesn't relate with that, stop talking. I'm not interested. Yeah, you're right, sir. You're absolutely right.
The part you just said then made me laugh because it reminded me of some conversations I have with. Sometimes I'll ask someone a question and they start going off on a tangent.
Yeah.
And I'll literally say, what did I just ask you? What was the question I just asked you? And there are some people who genuinely don't even remember the question. You're just talking.
Oh, that's nice. Sorry, it's really, really pouring outside right now. I'm loving it. Da 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 da. It's pissing down. Hence the sounds. It's awesome. Yeah. Well, now here's the female dynamic about the fatherhood thing as well. It's quite different because what you are used to is what you are used to, right? Well, a person can have a weak father, quote unquote weak father, but how do we know? How can we tell the weak father? We've not met him, right? But you can tell by the way a person responds to things. So, for example, a woman, generally, women are drawn to men who are like their fathers. This is why I say, be the man your daughter wants to marry, because if you become the best version of you, your daughter will only look for men who are the best version of themselves. If you are not trying, the lazy kind, not trying to be better, that is your daughter's introduction to the world of how men are, of how men act. So that's what she knows, right? So now when she meets a man who is not that way inclined, a man, so if her father is the not bothered kind, the lazy kind, never committed kind, that's what she's going to be drawn to. So when she meets a man who is strong on his grind, knows what he wants, everything, initially on paper, that's what she says she wants. On paper. Because, oh my, I want a 6 this, 6 that, 6 that. On paper, she says that. Now when she gets that, her default setting kicks in, which is, oh, I love him, but he's not what I grew up with. What then happens now is self-sabotage kicks in. Starts to sabotage a relationship. Starts to do things that will make him fight with her. Starts to do things that will make him react in a certain way. And the moment he reacts the way she wanted him to, what does she go? Oh, I knew it. Y'all are the same. Y'all are the same. Not you all. Y'all. Y'all are the same. Y'all are the same. You set that thing up. You wanted that to happen. And because you made it happen. And then when it happened, just say, yep, men are all the same. Right? That's the female perspective. Now, the same thing happens on the male perspective. Hear me out. A man, a boy raised by an aggressive mother, a shouting mother, an angry mother, the you are never good enough mother, the one that's always causing and creating chaos mother, would want a peaceful woman, right? No drama, no nonsense, nothing. When he gets the woman that's peaceful, loving, and all that stuff, again, that's the woman he wants on paper.
Yeah, that's not what he's actually going to be attracted to.
On paper, that's not what he was raised with.
Yeah, it's unfamiliar.
There you go. So now when he gets the right one on paper, he goes out looking for the ones with baby daddy drama. The ones that will key up your car, and the ones that will break your this, break your that. The crazies. And you know what they say? Oh, they give better sex. They don't. They actually don't. It's just that you are accustomed to a female behavior that is that. Because this is how mother used to act. You are used to this. Your mother was your introduction to the world of females.
Oof. You're making me think of a few people right now.
It's not a few, it's a lot.
I didn't say it was a few.
I know what you mean. Just for the audience. For the audience.
Yeah, just I've met a few people that fit Like one person pops into my head who is, yeah, I'm guessing is. I haven't spoken to him for a while, but notorious ladies' man, swordsman. And at one point we were all hanging out talking, and you know, people. Sometimes the guard slips down and they just kind of open up, and then basically revealed that never received love as a kid. Mother never said she loved him. Always critical. Same kind of pattern you're talking about, right? With the real unhealthy home situation. And then you fast forward to the present day, and there's a woman that's like waiting outside of his home after he's stopped seeing her. There's an argument between this woman and someone, like just a whole bunch of toxic situations, and it's not difficult for me to trace the pattern back. Like, okay, started here and here now. It's like, it's kind of obvious. Whereas, you know, like you say, someone like that, they meet someone that's got their shit together, healthy, balanced. It's not gonna activate them same chemicals in the brain.
Because
it's gonna seem boring. It's gonna seem. Do you know what I mean? And
so the ones who are unsettled. Sorry, sir. The ones who are unsettled
should be sorry. See how many interruptions today. Anyway, go ahead.
Because it's there. The audience like my voice. Because you said that, and I don't want to lose that.
I know what's happening. Go ahead.
That moment.
Go ahead.
Right. Here's what it is. Right. People who are unstable crave stability. They crave people who are stable because they feel that if they stick to that person that's stable, they're going to be able to have a bit of stability in themselves. So they're trying to succubus your stability. You know?
Parasitic.
Yes. But then they now realize that they can't do that. But the hardest thing to do is to look in the mirror and say you are the problem. So you blame them for your problems that you've always had, by the way. And you know it's you, but you know what? If I lie enough times that they're the problem, they become the problem. That's what happens to people who are stable. So the ones that are stable have no idea what happened. It's just that person that was unstable pretended to be stable to get you in the pants. And once they've got you locked up, boom, locked up, locked in. That's it.
Yeah,
they're trying
Mission Impossible time.
Yeah, they're trying to steal your stability to make them stable. But the problem is they've always been unstable. No one can fix you but you. That's the problem. No one can fix you but you. So those who are stable feel bad because they think, am I a problem? You're not the problem, darling. Trust me, bro. It's not you. It's not you, it's them. It happens too often. That's why I had to interrupt you. Sorry.
It's okay. It's very interesting, man. I think also a piece connected to this is around your self-image and your self-esteem. Because let's say for example someone has come from a background where it is an unstable situation, and on a certain level they believe that's what they're worth. When they get something that's better than that, it doesn't really compute. It's too much. And you see these situations where a woman will say, oh no, he's too perfect, or he's too good, or he's too good, when in reality on a certain level they don't feel worthy of that level.
That's honest. That's them being honest, because they never got that kind of love.
Yes, that love, that affirmation. They don't give themselves that either, right?
You can't.
So when someone's like, oh, you're this and you're beautiful and you're whatever, in their head they're like, this is bullshit. What's this? This makes me uncomfortable. So interesting, isn't it? It's so interesting that peace could create anxiety in some people.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
then they're not comfortable being
Peace
peaceful.
would create anxiety, and actually anxiety will make them feel at ease. Like, and I notice this even more now because my energy is quite calm, and I'll be in scenarios sometimes where I enter the space and maybe I'm working with someone or whatever, and I can just feel how unsettled their spirit is. And because mine isn't, it almost mirrors that back more, and you can feel that. You know what I mean? Doing this and doing that, and I'm just kind of standing there.
Like, slow down, bro. It's all good.
But it just makes it worse. Oh man.
It's tough. It's tough. But the natural thing is to tell people to remove themselves from that situation. But first off, you have to go and check yourself. You need to check your reality, because that's that. You know, you could be the problem, but you're not the problem. You could be the one that's the issue. But you never know this, because it's easier for us to blame everybody else for our problems.
100%.
Oh, it's your fault that, blah 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 happened. It's because of you that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because that makes you feel better.
Yeah. Facing yourself is the hardest thing.
It is. So yeah, it always comes full circle. The mothers thing happens too often. The boys seeing how mommy grew up, that's what they like. They may not realize it, but that's the reality.
Yeah, it's usually unconscious, a lot of this
It's
stuff.
very unconscious. It's very, because you're like, but why am I doing this? Yeah, but that's what it is. One, two, another factor as well is your rite of passage. I've had this talk before, but I'll do it again.
Do it again. This
Your
needs to
rite
be
of passage from
repeated.
boyhood to manhood matters. Say that again. Your rite of passage from boyhood to manhood matters. Long time ago, the passage from boyhood to manhood was the community that decided that now you are a man. The community. How? All the men went to work, all the men went to hunt, all the men went to fish, all the men went into the fields, all the men went to farm, whatever it was, all the men went and did that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the boys didn't do that. When the boys got to a certain age, they started following dad to work, to start seeing what dad does at work. Just showing you. Now, good. Now that they've seen what dad does, the next step is, okay, in 6 months' time, in 4 months' time, in 2 weeks' time, you are going to do this for the first time. You see what it is? So we've set you up with a visual, physical thing to make you go, okay, this makes you a man. So the moment you have your first kill, your first hunt, your first kill, your first fish you catch, your first whatever, your first growth, whatever it is that's physical, that other men can see, they go, yeah! Pat your shoulders. Now you're a man. So the boys now know that's the rite of passage. From boyhood to manhood. It is visual, it is physical, it is cerebral. Right. Today, there is no community. There is no brotherhood. There is no gathering. There is no bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
So, what happens now is boys who are not told, because we weren't taught this. What you don't know, you can't teach. So we can't teach the boys how to go from boyhood to manhood, because we don't know, right? The rules, regulations, the T's and C's, we don't know.
Yep.
Exactly. So now, the boys look at what men are doing. What are men doing? Chasing girls, having sex,
kids,
having children. Simple. So now, their own mindset is, oh, when I start doing what those men are doing, that's gonna make me a man. So now what happens is, the first time he has sex, he now thinks he's the man. See my point? When he has sex, why? Not that sex is good, no problem. What it is he's now doing what adults do. So in his head, that has now become his rite of passage. That's now how he has defined manhood. So now that he's now pulling girls and having sex, he now thinks and feels like he can talk to you like he's your mate. Because now he's a man. He's getting girl them now. Now he's a man.
Girl them, man.
You see my point?
I do.
That's his own mental rite of passage, because no one else has taught him that's not the way. So now what happens is, here's how it flips. Our first paycheck made us think we're men. Our first grind, our first stuff. So now what happens when we're depressed, sad, unhappy, suicidal? What do? We go back to the first things we did that made us feel like men. We want to work. We want to grind. No, you're not feeling fine, feeling everything. You put your head down and you grind some more, right? That's what we do. Things ain't going your way. You're going to work. You work your ass off. Work extra overtime. You work your ass off, right? Now the young man or the young men, when they feel sad, angry, all that stuff, what do? Get more girls, chase more girls, because that's what makes them feel like men. The more girls in my pocket, the more masculine I think I am. The more manly I feel. Problem.
Yes. That's where I thought you were going to go with it. I thought you were going to say people create rites of passage, maybe even unconsciously.
It's unconscious.
They'll create these difficult situations and challenges to make up for the fact that they don't have the proper ones. And an interesting distinction between some of these choices that will be made unconsciously and the traditional rites of passage that struck me as you were talking is that the traditional ones are more about the community.
Yes.
It's hunting, so you're hunting for the people. You're learning to fight or survive. These are things that are going to help you to serve not just yourself but other people. So there is a sense of service to the greater good.
Yes.
Within that, compared to the ego stroke of having a bunch of different baby mothers or
the greater good.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a purpose behind that, which is different. And I think this segues really nicely into the other thing I wanted to touch on, which was isolation versus community.
Yes.
We're talking about community already. And the reason I raise this, and it's one of those things I'll keep coming back to, is that most men today, I find, are very isolated. And on the one hand, there's an element of masculinity, which is independence, and it is important to have that autonomy and that ability to solve problems yourself and work through things. But the flip side of it is too much isolation is very unhealthy. It's very bad for your mental health, and it's just not an enjoyable way to live anyway. You know, like, we do need other people, and I speak to guys that are in my circle, and oftentimes I'll find they've just been dealing with a whole bunch of stuff on their own. You know?
How?
And so sometimes.
Wait 1 second. How? Pause the video. How? Jeeves! How? How? Sorry.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So I try and check in with people, and just where possible, create those little spaces, whether it's one-to-one or there's a few of us or whatever, where we could just connect and see, like, how is everyone doing? Because I know what it's like when you're on your own. I've been in those situations many times where I'm just like, clinging on by my fingernails, you know. And I realized myself like how unhealthy that is. So I try and create the spaces. So yeah, I think it'd be good to keep that conversation ongoing. Isolation versus community. I can't really imagine you reaching out to people in that situation too much though. Because you seem very independent.
Can't. I've tried for so long.
Really?
Before the virus, because I knew it was coming. Before the virus, okay. So I like history. 1620 there was a global virus. 1720 global virus. 1820 global virus.
Yeah.
1920 global virus.
Yeah.
It only makes sense now. Common sense. The flaw of humanity is that they think they are better than God. You know.
That's one for sure.
You know. So my thing was, I'm a futurist. I plan ahead. I'm proactive. My thing was create a community so that if ever there's a catastrophe, global, local, whatever it is, you have your 12, 14, 20, 100 people that come together and go, okay, you know what? Let's all put a pound together and make tomorrow better.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. I buy from you, you buy from me, we're good. That was the idea of it. Now, the WhatsApp groups, the communities, the group chat, the Facebook groups that I was in, I had, you know how I am. I'm straightforward.
Yeah,
I had
I
come
already
in.
know where this is gonna go.
We're going this way. We're not doing this. We're going this way. This is the idea. This is the drill. This is what we're doing this for. Simple. Let's make money together. Let's grow together. You make this. I make this. Do like this. I buy from you. You buy from me. Done. Simple. Done. And this was on a global scale, by the way. On a global scale.
Oh wow.
Done. The problem now was when we got these groups together, the main talk was men trying to get chicks.
Well, that goes back to that rites of passage shit right there again, doesn't it?
Rite of passage. You see what I'm saying?
What
So
connects?
if what you grew up with was that, if no one's taught you how to be that, that's all you know, that's all you see. That's the problem. And the same thing for the female part as well, the male and female part. These people were not into growth. They were into party, clubbing, where the men at, where the girl at, party, clubbing, fake hair.
Do you think it would have worked better if it was all male groups, all female groups, like separate?
Different groups.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all male group.
Oh,
I'm talking about
okay.
mixed groups.
I thought it was mixed groups.
No, all male group was like, oh, where the party at, where the girls at. Guys, here's the plan. 20 of us put £1,000 or £1,000 each. We do this. This is what we're going to buy. In 3 years' time, this is what it's going to produce. You have two ways. Number one, you put £1,000 now, you get £1,000 plus profit in 3 years' time. Or you put £1,000 now, that means you have a percentage of the company. That now means that it takes 3 years to get grown. After 3 years, on a monthly basis, you get paid every month.
And you didn't get anyone to go for that?
Nah, bro. They want chicks in it. It's that simple. It's that simple. So you either loan the money or you have a percentage of the company. But guess what? There's more. If you put down 20 grand for the company, in 5 years' time, that company is worth at least 200 grand. Because it's a business. What's business? Growth. That now means, because you remember you had a percentage of the company, right? 5%, 10%, whatever percentage. You can sell your shares based on percentage, not how much you bought. Because you bought a percentage of the company. When the company goes up there, your percentage is the same percentage, but that means that that's a high amount now. That's what Kes goes through. So The trick is to find your group, find your circle,
Yes.
because they're not all the same. No problem. Try and fail forward. Ah, ah, ah.
Skeletal laugh.
Ah! I know, right? So you fail forward. You fail, or you keep trying. You fail forward. You go, okay, no problem. That's not my group.
Excellent point.
It's not the end.
Excellent, but it doesn't
That's
mean
not
you
my
give
group.
up on the whole
You
thing.
don't give
'Cause
up.
I see that too often too. People are like, oh well, I tried this networking thing and I went here and like now I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go back to doing nothing.
Because they gave up before they went there.
Yeah.
The idea was to just try once so they can say they tried. That's it. So you can say, oh, I tried. How many times? Once. Cool. You try once so you can say you tried, but you didn't really try. You and I know you didn't try. We know. Because you didn't want to try. You did it for the sake of, I did it once. But that once you did it tells everything else. Yeah. Simple as that.
Another thing I'm gonna throw in there actually is sometimes the reason you don't fit into a group is because you're supposed to be creating your own group. You're supposed to be creating your own tribe.
Yes. That's exactly that.
I see that with a lot of people. They don't realize it. They're like, oh, but I don't fit in it. No, but you weren't supposed to.
Thin the herd. Thin the herd. That's what you do.
And there is a limit too. So I remember last time we spoke, I mentioned this image I saw of like a one-man band where he had like the drums on his back and an accordion, like 6 different instruments. And I said, this is how a lot of people's businesses are. There's a limiting factor to what you can do on your own.
Yes.
And at a certain point, it's diminishing returns because how much capacity do you as one person have? And then I think the challenge becomes finding those people that you trust to delegate and who perform at that level. But so if you take, say, Steve Jobs,
Yep.
he wasn't doing a lot of the nuts and bolts stuff
He was actually.
at a certain point.
He was eating an apple.
Right.
Get it? Apple. No, you know what? Put that in there.
Delete that out.
What do we call it?
But
Apple.
that's such a great sketch, actually.
I'm here
I'm
all
on one. Making his dent in the universe.
Yeah.
And a dent in apples, obviously, too. But yeah, his whole thing was to get A+ performers. Have A+ performers around him. So your HR person's A+, this person's A+. But all these titans, they all got teams, man. They've got coaches, they all got people they learn from, they all got the understanding that they can't do everything by themselves.
Yeah.
And also it's more fun.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, there is.
You have to do a lot by yourself first
Yes.
before you get your team.
I agree with that.
Because people hear that and they go, okay, team. No. Back to basics, fundamentals. You have to do a lot by yourself first. And then you get one person to take this part of it. You basically micromanage them first to make sure they get it right, even in their sleep. Then get the next person and the next. That's how it works. Because if you just hire someone because they're good, they're gonna crap on your business. I mean, you've seen it. I saw it last week. Key. Very important. Very important.
Isolation versus community.
You need to isolate sometimes. It's a balance. So you need to know life is all about balance. There is never a left side, there's never a right side. There is a just right. You need to learn to be a bit of both.
I agree with that. You got to be comfortable in your own space. You got to be able to
you need
be alone.
Yes, you need to know and understand that you need the community to function. You also need to understand and accept that sometimes you need to take a step back to evaluate where you are, where you need to be, where you were, where you are, where you need to be. Not where you want to be, where you need to be. That's isolation. You cannot do that if you're in a group. You know, Sting said this in one of his songs all these times in the 90s. Men go crazy in congregations. They only get better one by one. Those words, I was like, that's very true. Because when we're in a crowd for so long, we stop thinking for ourselves.
COVID.
So we need to take a minute to ourselves and go, okay, what did I just do? What am I doing now? What do I need to do tomorrow? We take a step back and we start seeing where we need to be necessary. Do not be nice, do not be mean, be necessary. That's balance.
I agree with you. And most people are going to lean more towards introverted or extroverted, and so either isolation or being around lots of other people is going to come more naturally to most.
It's comfortable.
It's going to be more comfortable.
It's comfortable to not think. It's very comfortable to not think. It's easier to not think. Because when someone else thinks for you, it's easy. Like, people who have stopped thinking today, that actually forming your own thoughts gives you a headache. Like, brain's not braining. It's like, really?
I was so funny you mentioned that. Like a couple nights ago, I was working at Silverstone F1. I remember a couple nights ago there was a conversation happening, and I was watching this conversation take place, and it was so unconscious. Someone would just raise a topic, and then someone would go, "Oh yeah, you know, blah blah blah," and then someone else would sort of jump in, interrupt them before they finished their train of thought without even realizing it, and then someone else would leap in, and it was just this very sort of arbitrary, unconscious thing happening. Like no one was really aware of what the subject was, what it had jumped to, and there was no real purpose of the conversation. It was just reactions. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm reacting to that. Oh, that's triggered a memory for me. Oh, I'll interrupt, subject change, and then everyone would go with that new subject. And I was just kind of observing it like, this is interesting. No one is really present in this moment. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yes. Fair enough. But is that not the thing I say for a long time is think before you talk? As people are just talking, but they're not actually thinking.
I think there's two things. One aspect of it is silence is terrifying to most people.
Scary.
So there's almost a comfort for them in there being this just happening. Do you know what I mean? And then thinking is also uncomfortable because it means you have to stop and you have to reflect on things. I like to think, and it's not like I love being uncomfortable, but I want to learn, I want to grow, so I enjoy when people hit me with a new perspective or ask me a tough question. Like I've got one friend in particular, man, he asked the best question. He asked me a question and I'll just be like, okay, I have to just sit with that one because it cuts through everything. And there's so few people I know who are like that, who are like really aware, really paying attention, and can see like, okay, this is what will move things forward. Whereas most people are just doing this kind of pinball machine. They don't even let you finish your thought before they're like, oh yeah, and it's not even connected. Do you know what I mean? It's not even connected. It's just like, I think you're talking about this because this is what I'm feeling right now.
Bing. But they're not present, are they?
That's what it is.
It's more of a, you need to hear what I have to say.
All of it. Yeah. You need to hear me.
Even if it's not productive. Fair enough. Oh, it's good.
Isolation versus community. Balance.
Balance is king. Balance is queen. Balance is everything. It's everything.
I like that. I really like that. I really like that take. Because it's whole. You know, it's seeing that there's value in both. There's value in solitude.
Everything is wholesome.
It's necessary to have some solitude, but it's also necessary to have some connection.
This is what vexes me with the way the male versus female dynamic of the world today.
Bro, I'm so over it.
Same. The male versus female dynamic. I don't know who invented this, but the person that invented this did not have the best of intentions at all. Because think about it. It's constantly telling us that we need to challenge ourselves or challenge each other. No, we need to cooperate with each other.
Oh,
It's that simple.
say it again, please.
It's that simple.
I'm having that moment you had a minute ago when I mentioned the thing about dealing with stuff on your own. Oh,
It's that simple.
this is exactly the word. I just don't see enough of that cooperation.
And I tell men and women the same thing. If a person is not willing to be cooperative with you, leave.
Run! Get to the chopper.
Like, don't discuss it. Don't talk about it. It's that simple.
Exit
Because
stage left.
the lack of cooperation is actually an unconscious thing. But that means it's a natural thing for them.
Yes.
If you are not easily cooperative today, you're gonna get worse tomorrow. Here's why. The you we get today is your best behavior.
This is the honeymoon period.
The you we get today is your best behavior.
Yeah,
You are not gonna get better than this tomorrow.
man.
You're not. You are not.
Jeez.
You ain't. You aren't. You ain't. You can't.
I feel like someone should be writing this down. Write this shit down. This is gold. It's so true though, because people put their best foot, best face, whatever, forward at the start.
Yeah.
They don't show you all their crazy
Best behavior.
up front usually.
Best behavior.
Mm.
Best behavior. And I like when they say, "Oh, I wasn't crazy until I met you." Lying ass. You was lying. You're being crazy. You just know how to masquerade that. You distracted me with cleavage and ass and whatever you thought I wanted sexually. Juju. No. Simple. It's that simple. You don't just develop crazy. You're like, someone is crazy. They're crazy. They hide it for a while, but they're being crazy.
Yeah, they hide it like, let me just get them a bit more invested.
So once I know they can't leave,
So they can't.
pow, comes out. That's it. Once they know you can't go, that's it. Crazy comes out.
It's like,
Game.
hello.
It's clever. Very, very. It's good marketing, by the way.
It's very good marketing.
Good marketing.
That's why you got to look out for the little things.
Do
you know what I mean?
You don't know these things until
Yeah, you don't know until you know.
until you get burned once. You be like, ooh, burn notice.
Notice. Yeah.
Then you start taking drastic measures.
Drastic measures.
I like this. There's this one I heard a long time ago. I like it. When your dog starts barking at you, someone else is feeding it. And I'm not talking about dogs.
Spicy.
Caliente.
Caliente.
Muita galante. That's it. When your dog starts barking at you,
God damn.
someone else is feeding it. And I'm not talking about dogs. That's it. There you go.
That's a ball. That is. Woof.
Because that's the pause, the realization. You go, oh,
That's good. It's really good.
oh, wow. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Your dog starts barking at you, someone else is feeding it, and I'm not talking about dogs.
Yes.
That's gold.
That's it. So when someone starts barking, you stop and you look. And you start doing a mental assessment. When did this barking begin? When did this barking begin? Okay, cool. What are the constants that have become variables? As simple as that. You know when they used to do a lot of things for you, but it stopped happening now just because headache. We have a headache. Oh, okay. That's it. Start deciphering. It's game. It's game. Game. Pay attention.
It's learning to read all these things, man.
Oh yeah. When you say you can read and write, can you? Can you really? You know what that means? Read and write. You know. Yeah, man. It's the life we live.
Dope.
I know. So my thing is going forward. Find your circle. It's not gonna be easy. Find your circle. And if you get the feel that this brotherhood or the sisterhood that you are associated with is not on the path where you're going to, which is after you've actually illustrated where you need to be, and they're not on that, they're not about that life, leave. It's not bad, don't worry. There's someone out there for you. Just leave. Find someone else. That's very important, because if you are not associated with like-minded folks, you are not gonna grow.
I had a conversation with someone recently, a very accomplished calisthenics guy, trains people as well, and very knowledgeable. When I speak to him, I learn a lot, pretty much every conversation. And so we started talking the other day, and he mentioned something about when he's reading and learning and growing, he feels outcasted by his circle. And I said, that's interesting. And he asked me, have you ever felt outcasted? Interesting word choice, right?
Yes.
Outcasted. I was like,
Yes.
Straight away it tells me like you felt like clearly there's a thing around belonging and so on going on there. What I said to him was, if you and your circle all vibrating at this sort of frequency, that's why you're interacting and in the same circle.
In the first place. Yeah.
Right? Otherwise you wouldn't be there. If you start to raise your vibration and come up here now, you're starting to create a gap between you and these people at this level. So what's going to happen is either they're going to come up, if you stay there long enough, either they're going to come up to your level on some level,
yes,
or they're just going to come out of your circle, and then other people at this new level will come in. But what happens with a lot of people is they don't stay there long enough to stabilize at that level. So they'll do a little something, and then maybe this person will be like, oh, who are you? Who do you think you are doing ABC? Or someone will make fun of them, or something, something will make them feel uneasy about it, or they won't be consistent, and then they'll kind of slip back down to this level and stay there, and then nothing changes. But the reality is, it's not that you're just going to be isolated here. If you stay there long enough at a certain point, as I say, certain people will adjust. Some people from the past even might come back who are at this new level. So I would say, in addition to finding your circle, it's creating your circle as well. It's actively proactive of you, if you like to say, creating these opportunities, particularly around the things that are important to you. So it could be your passions, it could be your mission, whatever, but making those connections rooted in things which are going to be mutually beneficial and help you move forward is really key.
I like that whole outcast thing. envy comes out. Envy shows. Envy comes out when you make progress.
When you grow. Yeah.
When you're growing, the ones who don't want to grow, who don't like to grow, who are fine with where they are, they show their envy by trying, this is unconscious, but trying to belittle your accomplishments.
Yes.
Belittling, admonishing, insulting,
mocking, making jokes.
You know.
Yeah. You could, because that makes me think of people, for example, who maybe they lose a little weight or they stop drinking, or do you know what I mean? Just any positive change in one of these areas, and you'll see it will trigger people. Oh, so you've changed your diet now? Okay. Oh, so you'll start getting comments, and it's real interesting.
When you start making positive changes, what it is you start to remove yourself from the negative things that you used to do with those people. So if someone stops drinking, what that means is they stop hanging out with those guys when they're drinking hours. If they lose weight, that means they've stopped eating with those people at midnight. So they've now changed, and it now, for those ones, it now feels like, oh, you think you are better than us. They didn't say that. That's what you think. You are thinking that, oh, he is better than us. But it goes, but you mirror what you're thinking. You think you're better than us.
Absolutely. He even said that during our conversation, funny enough.
And it's sad, because the reason why those people are in those groups is to not grow alone. It's to grow together. That's big example. So here's the problem about quote unquote black people. If you're a black person and you're striving and driving for success, it's like going from 1 year grade to the higher grade, right? So in this grade, let's say grade 5 and grade 6, right? In grade 5, you have, like, in the class 50 people, 10 black, 10 white, 10 Chinese, 10 Indian, 10 Koreans, right? Just
I know where you're going with this, man.
Okay, so you're in grade 5. Now, when you work hard, study hard, and grade up, you go to grade 6. When you get to grade 6, a higher level, you're now in that class. You now have,
it's not 10 black people.
You have 5 white people, right? You have 6 Chinese people. You have 4 Koreans. You have 10 Indians, and it's just you.
Yes,
that's what it's like.
And this is such a good point. I feel like this is a whole other podcast, but it's such a good point, because what tends to happen then is now you're in grade 6. The people who are still in grade 1 will be looking at you like, oh, so now you want to hang around with Koreans, kids, right? Now you want to go and network with Koreans, or you want to do this, and it's like, well, everyone around me is like everyone around me, and then it becomes that much harder to build. It's not impossible, but
wait, there's more.
It's definitely challenging, man.
Now, all the Koreans in the same class with you will only come to you to do business after they've done all the Koreans in the class.
I was going to say all the Koreans are working together.
There you go. All the Chinese are going to do business with the Chinese after they've worked with all the Chinese together. So everyone comes to you last, even if they want to come to you. Because it's just you there. So now you're the one because they don't need you. So you now have to now go out there and advertise yourself to all these people who don't need you. You now become big friend.
So sometimes I'll be out in some of these spaces because I end up working in a lot of high-end places. And don't get me wrong, there are times when I do see black people together, and it's beautiful. But there are often other times when there's almost like that token, that person there, and you can just, like, I'll see them and it's like they look so uncomfortable, man.
Yeah, but it's the one person in class, and they've spent all their life being the one person in class.
Yeah.
And as a survival instinct, you have to try and blend in
Yes.
with everybody else. That's what I said earlier. Because you're used to the community mindset that you are afraid of being alone. You fear that self-portrait. You worry what it looks like because you've never been there before. You get it. I don't accept it, but I get it.
Yeah, I love solitude, so that's not my issue, to be honest. But yeah.
There you go.
Shall we bring
Right,
this
cool.
to a close?
Thank you. Closing words.
Feel free.
I'm asking you, my guy.
Since when? Closing words.
It's your topic now. Come on.
Oh, it's my topic now, yeah.
Topic.
This guy after all that talking. Right. Topic number 1, weak fathers. My takeaways from this in terms of closing words would be to consider those categories you spoke of. Father at home, the favorite male teacher, and the martial arts teacher or mentor, and just consider those different sort of roles and where you fit into them, but then also where people you know could fit in, or where you might even be able to find some of those people, because depending where you're at, you may be seeking people that fit into those categories, or you may be in a situation to be able to help people. Like, I'm thankful at this point that I have the opportunity to connect with people where I can mentor, I can support to a certain degree. It's super rewarding. And the other thing, biggest takeaway I would say around isolation versus community is the need for both. The need for, well, I wouldn't say isolation, but the need for solitude as well as community, and getting that balance right. And generally speaking, you're going to know, I think, if you've got the balance right. If you're spending too much time around other people, there's going to be a lack of groundedness. You're going to feel a lack of connection to yourself. And if you're spending too much time solo, you're probably going to be feeling more lower, more depressed, and yeah, isolated. So it's incumbent upon you to create that stuff, because no one's going to come along and be like, hey, here's the perfect community for you to become who you can be. It's going to be down to you to create it. So it's on you to build those networks, plug into those networks. And there's ways you can do that in person or online. And in person is better, obviously, but sometimes you got to deal with the online stuff. Those are my closing thoughts.
Awesome. Right. Balance is key. Balance is everything. Always everything. Balance. You can't be one and not the other. It's a human factor. You have to balance yourself.
Balance yourself.
Well, that's that. It's been emotional. Thank you, sir. Stay hard.
What the fuck? You finished on the finger point.